Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's give a full review of why The Crow is failing right now. I haven't seen the original and I don't really have anything that could irritate me about this adaptation. This movie takes about 45 minutes to set up the love story of our two lead actors, which is really just two people clinging to each other because they don't really know who they are and are just kind of floating around in life. We have our bad guy who has apparently made a pact with Satan so he can have eternal life. Turns out he is the most wimpy character of them all in this film, even though he comes off as Mr. Big and Bad through the first half of the movie. Now, when are people gonna learn that making pacts with Satan never turns out well? Satan will mess you over every time. Why don't you just make a pact with Jesus? Come on. He's a real one. Eric and his true love are killed, which sends Eric to limbo because of their true love for each other. He is now optioned with his only option, which is to become the Crow and save them both. If he goes back, kills all the people who did this to them, they can both return to their normal lives because their love was so epic. I think this is why the movie tried to spend 45 minutes on this. They would have been better served just kind of barely showing them and implying that they had such a true love. We could have put the rest of the pieces together in our mind, which would have been a lot more effective. He comes back to the real world as the Crow, round one. He goes about his first Crow self-attempt in kind of a sloppy, wishy-washy way. He lacks any real conviction and doesn't really seem to know what he's doing. He finds a video of her committing a horrible act, which is brought on by our antagonist. He doubts her. That doubt is actually kind of warranted. They haven't known each other that long. This throws everything out the window. Now that he's doubted his love for her, he can no longer save them both, but he can take her place in hell. That man should have read the fine print. One moment of doubt in his love, and he can only save her, and then he is doomed for a hell life. You really gotta look at that fine print. I'm not feeling any of that genuine love from the character. None of these choices were really even his to begin with. I feel like he was kind of pushed into these situations like, yeah, you can either be in limbo, go to hell, or go back and kill everybody. Sure, why not? Now he goes back committed, and I will say this is the only moment in the film where we get to see a committed, strong character that has direction, and we can actually feel something. I did enjoy the strength that was coming out of this second Crow go. What an unsatisfying end this is, to go back to vengefully, gruesomely kill the people that are involved. I'm just not a fan of this idea in general. Probably the premise for the first one, but it's just ugh. So when he goes on his final hunt, he takes out a bunch of goons. I normally don't question all the senseless killing of a bunch of henchmen, but with this particular objective being the one who's supposed to go back and kill the people involved, I'm really questioning what level these henchmen are actually involved. Did they deserve to die like this? I don't know. This is the section of the movie where we have a lot of hyper violent, gruesome scenes. For me, this was way over the top. I don't really feel that this was an effective way to even show this violence. Could have better been served on our actual antagonist who gets a pass at the end. I wasn't a fan of this scene. I don't like hyperviolence, as you guys know already, but it just seemed like really gross, disgusting deaths. Why couldn't we have gone after our bad guy like this? It would have made more sense and had more impact. When we finally get to our bad guy, there was very anticlimactic. They fight for a moment. Eric Draven is bleeding. This man has a cut, so he tries to take on the Crow powers, which works. And I'm like, oh no, this is so stupid. Why? It actually wound up adding up to absolutely nothing because as soon as he does this, they both get sent to limbo where he is quickly and easily defeated by water demons who come up to grab him for the crimes that he's committed, which they enabled him to do because these powers were from Satan. Usually when you have a story about darkness, you actually need some light in it too. can you balance that when it's just all darkness? Like, I'm not saying Eric Draven is completely evil, but he essentially has to become evil to execute a plan for Satan against Satan. So I'm not sure how this is all working. I think this movie needs a little bit of another element in it, you know? Bad guy was defeated by somebody else very quickly. Eric saves the love of his life and they can't be together. He knows their souls will collide again someday. I mean, I just, it was all so weak to me. It had no flow to it. I was bored in a lot of spots. The writing in this is very bad. It made the actors feel like they couldn't act at all and were just playing wimpier characters. So I just wasn't a fan. The only vibes that I was really getting from this was the evil it was trying to portray, which I'm not a fan of either. Not really something you can root for. So a very anticlimactic attempt at a Crow movie. And like I said, I haven't seen the original, but as a standalone, as someone who knows nothing, this was very weak. Well, that's what I have for you guys with The Crow. I don't recommend watching it. Let me know what you guys thought if you actually went to see it in the comments, but I'm pretty sure the consensus here is a no-go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, and I will catch you guys very soon for the rest of Andor, and Beetlejuice is coming up, so I will see you then.